Lake George and surrounded by the Adirondack Mountains is one of the most majestic properties I have ever been to. Built over the last 40 years by John Lavender, welcome to Highlands Castle. John! Oh my gosh!
Brandy!
Oh, so great to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for showing up.
This is spectacular. Oh my gosh, a castle. I can't believe that I'm here. It's so beautiful.
I agree. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about Highlands Castle.
I bought a mountaintop about 41 years ago. I started cutting down some trees for a foundation, and the most spectacular view in the world opened up.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful. Do you mind if I go take a look and wander around?
Not at all. Make yourself at home.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, you take care. Bye-bye.
John Lavender began the construction of the Highlands Castle about 40 years ago, but the story of the castle goes back much, much further. When John's son was just 3 years old, he made him a promise with the desire to build a better life. He promised to build him a castle. It was almost 5 years before he found the perfect property, a mountaintop in Bolton Landing, New York. In the process of clearing the land for the foundation, the most spectacular view in the world was uncovered, a majestic vista that had been waiting to be unveiled. In 1791, Thomas Jefferson had similar feelings as he gazed upon the waters of Lake George and was inspired to write, "Lake George is without comparison the most beautiful water I ever saw." Hundreds of thousands of visitors after him have jotted similar words on the backs of postcards, in battered travel journals, and in cherished scrapbooks. Highlands Castle, with its breathtaking vistas overlooking Lake George and the Adirondack Mountains, is truly like no other place on earth. To truly appreciate the uniqueness and power of the castle, you must first learn the story. Years before John bought the property, he was visiting an antique shop in Cape Cod. As the story goes, John was with his son at the time, and there were 4 stained glass panels that caught his eye. On them were big, oversized index cards with a note, "Not for sale." John shared with the owner that he had made a promise to his son that one day he would build him a castle. The stained glass panels depicted the coat of arms of the Montague and the Capulets, Romeo and Juliet. The shop owner had owned the panels for over 59 years. He explained that the panels came out of a Vanderbilt home by Tiffany. Years later, he got a call from the shop owner's wife, Rebecca, who was then in her 90s. She called to find out if he had given the doors a home, to which John replied, "I built my entire castle around them." John had purchased the panels before he had ever acquired the mountaintop property, but somehow he had designed the placement of those doors to open into a grand room in the heart or center of the castle. And when you look at the artwork on the stained glass, you'll see lakes and mountains in the distance. And when you open the doors and look into the Great Hall, the same view is unveiled to you of Lake George and the Adirondack Mountains. Every inch of this castle has a powerful story to share. The chandeliers coming from an antique shop originating from a church in Saratoga, New York. The magnificent knights being made from dead poplar trees found on Main Street, 4 feet in diameter, carved out in reverse, working their way down from a chainsaw to a Dremel. At every point, there is so much attention to detail throughout the entire castle, with stories in every corner, with rich history in everything from the furniture to the craftsmanship to the artwork. Evolving backwards, John bought the furniture before even having the property, and with every purchase, it was a further commitment to himself that he was going to make his dream a reality. Slowly, the structure began to find its outward appearance, and John was able to graduate from his tent to a mattress on the floor. The process to build the castle took decades, and over the years, his son helped him to build the castle, stone by stone. The stonework was a slow, tedious process, laying more than 1,000 tons of local granite to evolve into what it is today. A series of 3 castles where family and friends from all over the world gather to create their own special memories.
Don't go anywhere, we've got lots more to show you at the Highlands Castle. Welcome back to Hotel Incredible at the Highlands Castle.
Exploring the castle, you find opulence, luxury, and surprises around every corner. From the grand bedrooms, warm and inviting, that take you back in time, to the lavish bathrooms with hand-hammered copper tub and one-of-a-kind lion water feature. This property is as unique as it is breathtaking. Continue your discovery throughout the property, and you will find a discreet passageway that will lead you to the lower level, where you'll find yourself enchanted with a secret bedroom suite and breathtaking terrace. The story of Highlands Castle is truly a magical one that can inspire all of us and show us that all things are possible for those who believe and those who dream.
Well, John, thank you so much for having me. This place is truly incredible and so spectacular. I mean, this is one of the most, if not the most amazing places I have ever been to. So thank you so much for sharing this beautiful castle with me and your story and just how unique this property is.
Well, I want to thank you for showing up and for sharing our place with your audience.
Don't go anywhere. There's much more to show you on Hotel Incredible at the Highlands Castle. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to Hotel Incredible in beautiful Bolton Landing, New York. Hey, Glenn!
Hey, Brandy.
Oh my gosh, thank
Nice
you
to
for
meet you.
meeting me. Oh, let's take a seat.
Okay, no problem.
Well, Glenn, thank you so much for meeting me.
No problem. It's a pleasure to be here, Brandy.
I'm so excited to learn about Bolton Landing. This place is so beautiful.
It certainly is, but I don't know if I'm the right person to ask about Bolton Landing. I only live here.
So tell me some more. I mean, what kind of visitors do you get here? What kind of people live here? What's the history?
Well, look at it. I mean, just take a panoramic view of this place. It's gorgeous. My wife and I, we spent many, many years in Alaska, and we ended up coming back home to Bolton Landing. Just because it's so gorgeous. It's really a small town, only about 2,000 residents most of the year, but then in the summertime, because of its reputation, thousands, I don't know the exact numbers, but thousands of people come here to visit, to take advantage of everything that the town has to offer.
Absolutely, and I noticed that there's these islands. Can you tell me about those?
Tons and tons of islands. Most of them are private islands, public islands. There's a couple of private islands. None of them are accessible by land other than this island right here, Green Island. It's the only island of 172 islands in the lake.
Really?
They use them for camping and just some of the islands like Dome Island behind us, it's like a natural preserve. But it's just a gorgeous place. Look at the water. It's like crystal clear, and people love us for that.
And it's a queen of the lakes, is that right?
That's the name that's been given a long time ago because at least in New York, it is the cleanest waterway in the whole state.
Wow.
It's interesting, the lake is actually a river. It starts in the
Really?
south by Lake George, and it flows north up to Ticonderoga. 32 miles long. The deepest spot of the river lake is 200 feet, and the widest spot is like 2 miles. But then just a little bit north of here, you get into the Narrows, where the majority of the little islands are. You take a boat through these islands, it's just gorgeous. So, and again, it's shallow water, so you just like want to dive in and swim with the fish and everything, and you can see clear to the bottom. It's amazing.
And you have all kinds of water activities. Obviously boating, I see that, and also fishing. So tell me more about what kind of things can be done out on this lake.
Oh yeah, so obviously boating, kayaking, water skiing. In the wintertime, they're ice fishing out here on the lake, parasailing, paragliding, whatever they call that. Jet skis, they do a lot of that here. Just swimming, we have public beaches, we have private beaches here in Bolton. Such a variety of things to do in the water. And then we have all the surrounding lakes and ponds and rivers right around Bolton that people just love to enjoy.
And tell me about the Adirondacks.
So the Adirondack Park is gigantic. You know, we're on the eastern side of the park, which Lake George is basically a boundary, and then it goes clear over to the middle to far side of the state of New York. And we have the 46 high peaks just north of here. The town of Bolton right here, you know, it's called Bolton, but most people know it as Bolton Landing. Bolton Landing is just mainly this area right here because years ago when the railroad first came up here into the Adirondack Park, it came up to Lake George, brought all these visitors from the city and out of state up, but they had no way to really get into the Adirondacks up to here to the Queen of Lakes. So steamships would start coming up, and they would land at different little ports on the way up.
Oh.
This was the Bolton landing.
Oh.
So that's how Bolton Landing got its name. But Bolton as a town is rather big. It comprises about 83, 84 square miles of land. So other than the little quaint town that we have, where we have shops and stores and restaurants and all sorts of things, there's a lot of wilderness. There's mountains. There's where you can do hiking and fishing and hunting if you want to do that kind of thing. Climbing to the tops of the mountains, like some of the mountains over here. There's trails to these mountaintops. Gorgeous views once you get there, so you need to try it.
I mean, it's endless what you can do here, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now, I'd love to hear more about your story. Now, you said that you're from Bolton Landing originally, and then, so what do you do now, and kind of what, obviously you went to Alaska, you came back. I'd love to learn some more about your story.
Okay. So I actually didn't grow up in Bolton. I grew up in the little town right next to Bolton, but as a kid, in the summertime, we were always in Bolton, so I was kind of like a Bolton resident. So all my friends were from Bolton, where we do all the typical teenage stuff, getting in trouble and stuff, and being on the lake, water skiing and things like that. We've, since growing up, that was quite a few years ago. I mean, I'm in my late 30s at least. But since then, I've become a realtor. I'm actually one of the top realtors in the area.
Oh, wow.
Not to brag too much, but we deal with luxury real estate on the lake. Again, everybody wants to get here, so that's kind of what I do, and I'm kind of a friendly kind of person, so I'm fairly successful at doing that. You want to buy something?
Soon, I hope.
Okay, I'll recommend you to somebody.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk to me. This place is absolutely stunning, and it was great to visit the castle and visit with you and learn about such an incredible area.
Yeah. Well, if you think the castle, Highlands Castle is beautiful, gorgeous, unique. You can't beat it. The town of Bolton is just as unique. You can't beat Bolton. There's so much to do here. So I want to invite all of your viewers to come to Bolton Landing. If you've never been here, spend a day or two or a week, a season here, and see what it has to offer, because there's everything here. And we love tourists. Some towns around here, they don't like tourists. We love tourists. So bring your viewers in.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for your time. I appreciate it, Glenn.
Thanks, Brandy. Appreciate it.
What I love about Bolton Landing is it's so pristine, it's secluded, and close to everything. It's a marvel that not many people know about this place. What I love about John and his story is his dedication and persistence in building his castle and making his dream a reality. Well, that's it for this episode of Hotel Incredible. I'm Brandy Connor. See you next time.